So, in collecting what I hope is a fairly representative sample of different places around the world to concoct an average temperature for planet Earth, I decided to take the average temperatures of both daytime and nighttime for the North and South poles. The North Pole being about minus 20 degrees on average, and the South Pole being about minus 59.5 on average. And then I took temperatures from different latitudes around the world. I took an equatorial region, the Congo, which was 26.35 degrees Celsius. I took the Sahara Desert, which was 13 degrees Celsius. Actually, not all that much different from the temperature of England, the Sahara Desert, accounting for both daytime and nighttime temperature in the Sahara. Sahara being on average 30 degrees Celsius during the daytime, on average minus 4 degrees Celsius during the nighttime. So that's about the same average temperature of England's, which is 13.5. And then I took the average for Cape Town in South Africa, which was 14.75 degrees Celsius. Now, these temperatures come out at minus 2 degrees Celsius when averaged all together, which is most certainly very different from the statistic we're given by NASA. The statistic we're given by NASA is positive 15 degrees Celsius for the planet's surface temperature, which is clearly wrong. It's clearly inaccurate. It's wildly inaccurate by many, many degrees. Because the average temperature of the Sahara Desert is 13 degrees Celsius. So how can the average temperature of the entire planet be 2 degrees warmer than that? It makes no sense at all. So yeah, this turns out, I think, to be a slightly better average for Earth's average temperature, minus 2 degrees Celsius, which is not, I don't think, strictly speaking, the best average in the world. I think you can improve on the accuracy of this. For instance, what I did when I originally took the averages of the coldest temperature ever recorded and the hottest temperature ever recorded, that came out at minus 16 degrees Celsius. And I think this indicates, if nothing else, we have a lot of ways to go when it comes to figuring out what Earth's average temperature is. I don't think we know very well what it is at the moment. Most certainly it isn't 15 degrees Celsius. It's very interesting also to compare these statistics to the average temperature of the moon, and using different sets of statistics for the moon's average temperatures. I've come out with averages of minus 6 degrees, minus 30 degrees for the moon as well, minus 16 degrees for the moon. That also comes out of certain calculations. But in any case, I think what this does is open up into larger questions concerning the role of the atmosphere in determining Earth's average temperature. Because we had this generally we had this notion within science, within planetary and atmospheric science, that the atmosphere is keeping us warm somehow. The temperatures on the moon are much colder than those on Earth, which I think they might not be. I think they might not be all that much colder than temperatures on Earth, but nonetheless, we have this sort of bit of received wisdom in science, whereby we're thinking that the atmosphere plays some insulating role, whereas really, if we take the physics of the atmosphere into account, it should be reflecting as much light as it absorbs, I think, because of course carbon dioxide in the atmosphere reflecting, coming infrared radiation from the sun, whereas infrared reflected from the planet's surface is likewise also trapped by carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and this is what we call the greenhouse effect. So this is very interesting to me. I think this is a good jumping off point for more and deeper speculations and perhaps a bit more research into this topic. Yeah, it's good to uncover, I think, points of deep inaccuracy or conspicuous inaccuracy when it comes to the temperature statistics that are bandied about by scientists. They say plus 16 or plus 15 for Earth's average temperature. You come across different statistics where you look in different sources, but most statistics seem to agree that Earth's average temperature is about positive 15 degrees Celsius, whereas that only takes into consideration the daytime temperature of Earth, which it may well be 15 degrees Celsius, but I think, yeah, a more refined average, and an average which is more representative, takes into account nighttime temperature as well, doesn't give such a misleading result, I think, is probably about -2 degrees Celsius. And that's the sort of conclusion that I've reached this evening, just by doing a few back of the envelope calculations, albeit I don't have the equipment and computing power and satellites and stuff at my disposal that NASA do. However, I do have, I think, the perspicacity of vision and the ability not to become toadying in science, possibly, or the ability to, think for myself and think outside those fairly narrow bounds of statistical thinking and scientific reasoning, and come to a better estimate for Earth's average temperature based on temperatures from a few different latitudes around the world and from the poles as well. So I thought that was a pretty reasonable conclusion to have drawn. Again, as I said, wildly different from the results given by NASA.